Just a minute. I'm going to keep an eye on my time here so we don't go over and so that we all have a chance to speak. And I thought it was appropriate to use this period-looking Western pocket watch that I have worn in lots of productions here, a good handful of productions here in Cochise County as an actor, because I am an actor, and I grew up in Benson. Hi, Judy. I've spent my entire adult life as an actor in New York, Los Angeles, all across the country, going by the stage name of Craig Hensley, but my last name is Oldfather, as some of you know. But the reason I'm back in this area is because I finally wised up and got out of the city. But it did give me a perspective on what the film industry is like as an actor and as a crew person, and working on production, line producer, money producer at times. Gave me enough of a perspective that when George and the development group asked me if I would join Joanne in talking about the current state of film production in Cochise County, or shall I say not the lack of, but we don't have as much production as we want. We're not saying to production companies, no, go away, we're full. We don't have enough productions coming in. We want to talk about what we can do to bring production in. Why do we want to bring production in? And when I talk about production, I'm talking about films primarily, but also commercials, television episodes, industrials, documentaries, any kind of film production. We have a long history of film production in Cochise County. Joanne's going to speak more to that, but it's not what it should be. It's not what we want it to be. And why should you all care about film production? Well, it's self-evident. It brings in money to the local economy. Some productions bring in more, some productions bring in less, but it's self-evident that it brings in money. But let me point out to you that a film production is a unique entity in that in the time it stays in your local area, it needs support services across a wide spectrum, not just food and lodging, but gas, clothing, hardware, dry cleaning, laundry. Car breaks down, you need the local mechanic, and not to mention hiring local actors, crew such as myself. And let me tell you, it's a wonderful thing to be living in an area and be hired by a company that comes in to film their production. And it's a lot of fun. It's fun for the actors, for the crew to be involved in a production. You say, well, why does that matter? Well, if you can have fun and make money at the same time, it's just a win-win situation. And to speak to why I'm talking to you about this is, of course, as business owners, you would be support services. And as support services, if you're involved with a film, if you've got somebody filming in your restaurant or on your land, or if they're coming in to stay in your hotel, you get to see the crazy behind-the-scenes wackiness of that, and it's a lot of fun. But of course, the money is more fun. Hello, Justin. Good to see you. Glad. Justin Kreinbrink, Monsoon Productions out of Tucson. He is very active in film production in Arizona. He's a mainstay. He's been doing it for years. I think he'll back me up in saying that we are making some progress. We'll speak more to that in a minute about the progress we're making statewide. But first, I want to kind of whet your appetite with a little bit of history that you may not be aware of that we have here in Cochise County. This is where Joanne and Jay Gammons come in. They need no introduction, but I'll introduce them anyway. Jay Gammons over there with the very cool hat, and Joanne, they have been owning and operating Gammons Gulch Movie Set and Museum, 12 miles north of Benson, up Pomerine Cascabel Road, for years. Jay, when did you first start building Gammons? 1971, building it piece by piece, building by building. I'm not here to plug Gammons Gulch, but they are wonderful mainstays of the business community as far as the film industry goes, and Joanne will tell you more about that. But it's been a labor of love, and of course when Joanne came on board, she whipped Jay into shape even more. Now it's a very going concern. Jay gives amazing tours. If you haven't been to Gammons Gulch, if you haven't taken one of Jay's tours, you must, trust me on that. So, without further ado, Joanne, if you'll talk a little bit about what you got to talk about and tell us about why we love film in Cochise County and why we're going to get more of it.
I would like to take you on a little journey through Cochise County myself and tell you about different areas throughout the county that have served for the movie purposes in the past. I'm going to start off with Texas Canyon. Back in 1933, there was a little film filmed there, and it was called Terror of Tiny Town. This was a movie that was done by midgets, and they were on Shetland ponies. And it was a serious movie. Very funny to me because I got to watch it through Jeff Boggs Has a Movie, and I got to see that, and it was hilarious. And of course, Texas Canyon is awesome. I once worked out there and didn't ever want to leave because of the beautiful rock formations and all the little nooks and crannies that the outlaws can come out and grab you and run away with you. So it was a fun time for me out there. At that time also, I met Kenny Rogers, who was doing a music video at the Playa in Wilcox. And so now after this, I'm going to take you to Wilcox. And there have been many more movies done out in Texas Canyon because of their beauty. But I'm trying to wrap up everybody here so we get a little bit about every town. The next one I'm going to take you to is Wilcox. Wilcox is actually the home of Rex Allen, who is a country western singer and a movie star. And it is known for the beautiful Cherokee Mountains, where the Apaches once roamed, and all the different sceneries, and open land there where they can run their stage coaches and have the cattle run wild and stuff. Movie companies love this kind of stuff. And so it's very, and of course, you know, it is the Playa that does that for him too. That gives, in fact, Kenny Rogers, he did his movie video there because it was called Planet Texas, and so he needed that look like he was in another world. We'll go down now to Douglas, Arizona. Douglas, well, my goodness, Gadsden Hotel, who else? Back in 1972, Paul Newman, doing the movie Judge Roy Bean, actually was over there and utilized the staircase going up and down. If you have ever seen pictures of it, it is the most gorgeous thing you can have. And movie companies, again, look for this kind of material so that they have this. Okay, so let's go on up now to Bisbee. Oh, we've all been there, and glad to hear that they have their fire under control and that nobody was killed in that this morning. It was a sad state of affairs. I stayed up late watching the news just to make sure everybody, I couldn't believe it. But it was in the northwest section and didn't cover downtown. And downtown is one of the reasons why movie people love that, is because of the architect in that particular area. It takes them back to another whole era. And then there's a Copper Queen Mine and the Lavender Pit. These are all attractions for film companies. And there's some little known thing that maybe some of you know, but I found it really interesting. They used to have a theater there called the Lyric Theater, where stars from all over the country would come over. And actually, Houdini was one of them that visited that theater. He also visited the one in Tombstone, too, their theater. Excuse me for lack of name right now. Okay, and now we'll go on to Tombstone itself. Well, don't we all know about Tombstone? With Ed Shefflin and his discovery and people telling him, well, the only thing you're going to find in that town is your tombstone. And he named it after that then. It's known for, of course, the Clantons and the Earps fight at the OK Corral. There's been documentaries after documentaries done about all these characters and along the line, and there's too many for me to name at one time here. At that particular time, too, of course, the ghost hunters. They love Tombstone. They can find so many scary things there. Right. Ask Jeff, he can tell you. He's from Tombstone. And, okay, they did oh, here's a plug for my husband, okay. Back in 1955, Dave Garraway did a program called Wide Wide World. It was a documentary. And Jay was the little guy on a donkey going down the railroad tracks. And what did you say, Jay?
Tombstone, well, Tombstone too tough to die.
That was his big part in one of his first movies. So, okay. Now we're going to go to coming down from Tombstone, down the road. There's a town called St. David. You all familiar with that? Yeah? Okay. Well, there are two movies done there, major movies. What really struck in my mind about both these movies, one was a documentary. I think that one was The Buffalo Soldiers, and the other was The Magnificent Seven, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Right, yeah, and Jeff worked on this. This is Jeff Boggs, who works on movies too. And what amazed me about that one, it took 10 acres just for their equipment to be parked on. So this is the magnitude that sometimes you will run into with a movie company. They'll need lots of room. They rent houses, restaurants, everything, profit from it in the end. It's not just about the movie set, it's about the whole entire area and people who can profit from having the movie companies come here. They spend a lot of money in town. So that is another thing that's very attractive for us. Now we're going to Sierra Vista. Right now, it's the home of producer Rod Stevens. He recently did a film called Learning to Drive. And Jeff was assistant producer on that. And right now, as we speak, it is being shown at the Cannes Film Festival in France. So this is the magnitude of where one movie can go. And remember, it was filmed right in the area of Sierra Vista. And every time a movie goes to another country or to a film company, we are seen. All as a county, we have seen everybody, our properties, our what we have to offer. And this again attracts people to the town for productions, and productions of all kind. Next, I'm going to take you down Benson. Little old Benson, who would ever think they have movies, right? Who'd want to film in Benson? Oh, you're wrong. There's so much. 1972, there was a movie with George C. Scott. It was Rage. And guess where they filmed? You know who's catering us right now? The hospital. And that's where they filmed part of that movie. The next one was 1994. It was called Pontiac Moon with Ted Dancing. And where did they film? The Horseshoe Cafe. They love the 50s look. And by the way, that was my first job working for her when I came to Benson. Thank you for that chance, Lori. Then after that, 1997, Ruby, Jean, and Joe, Tom Selleck. He was the star at that point. Some of you probably remember that. They filmed at what's now the Galliano restaurant. Well, it was the Galliano restaurant. That's the place he filmed there. He was quite a character, I understand. 2009, the Office of, oh no, I'm going to go back. 2004, Day of Redemption was filmed out by us, but they utilized Benson also. It was with Jeff Fahey and Kristen Alfonso. She is on Days of Our Lives and the soap opera. They used the A-frame church. They used the cemetery, and guess what else they used? They used our local mortuary. So, strange place to film. Jay was down there with that one. So it was a fun little thing. Now I'd like to go on to thank George Scott and all of his associates for all the help that they did in getting the Gun Down movie, one of our biggest movies in. We had stars like Peter, I get a little actor.
In the Gun Down, you had William Shockley.
Yeah, William Shockley, Cherie Wilson.
Peter
Coyote, that's where I
Coyote,
got that one messed up at, yeah. All there, and all of them utilized this place, this wonderful place. The Holiday Inn at the time was open, and so was Gracie Station. They accommodated them by allowing them to come here and have food and drink anytime that they needed it, and Terry Jo also worked on that one very seriously with that too. And I'd like to thank you all for spearheading the building of our beautiful, beautiful 1,400 square feet saloon. With the help of the community and the Office of Economic Development in Benson, we are now the proud owners of that beautiful saloon that is now open to activities too. So again, I'd like to thank you, George, for all your help. And that's it, folks.